हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णुवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय। 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 नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम। हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। We shall chant from the fifth mantra of the second section. एषोऽग्निस्तपति एष सूर्यः एष पर्जन्यो मघवान् एष वायुः एष पृथिवी रयिर्देवः सदसच्चामृतं च यत् हरा इव रथनाभौ प्राणे सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं Richo yajunsi samani yajñakshatram brahma cha Prajapati charasi gardhe tvameva pratijayase tubhyam prana prajastvima balim haranti ya prane pratitishthasi देवानामसि वन्नितमः पितॄणां प्रथमास्वधा ऋषीणां चरितं सत्यम् अथर्वाङ्गिरसामसि इन्द्रस्त्वं प्राणः तेजसा रुद्रोऽसि परिरक्षिता त्वम् अन्तरिक्षे चरसि सूर्यस्त्वं ज्योतिषां पतिः यदा त्वम् अभिवर्षसि अथ इमा प्रजाते प्रजाः आनन्दरूपास्तिष्ठन्ति कामायान्नं भविष्यतीति व्रात्यस्त्वं प्राणैकर्षिरत्ता विश्वस्य सत्पतिः वयम् आद्यस्य दातारः पिता त्वं मातरिश्वः नः So this is a very beautiful portion where all the senses and the antakarana, when they realize the importance of prana, they start doing the stuti of prana. Prana is the main factor which holds this individual together. And all the activities of the senses and the antakarana is possible because of prana only. Prajapati himself is expressing as that prana as life everywhere. Prana is supremely pure. Vratyastvam pranaikarshiratta is the bhokta in all. So the senses and the mind, they continue with the stuti. We shall chant mantra number 12. Yate tanurvachi pratishtita ya shrotre ya cha chakshushi ya cha manasi santata shivam tam kuru motkramihi. So yate tanuhu vachi pratishtita. They address prana and they say that, O prana, your swarupa, which is established in the speech. You are established in the speech, and because of you only the speech is possible. See, I am speaking to you because prana is seated in the speech and making the speech possible. In the same way, prana is there in the eyes, in the ears. Ya shrotre, ya cha chakshushi. So the ears are able to listen, the eyes have the ability to see, and ya cha manasi, and one, the prana is present in the mana also, in the mind. Because of the presence of prana in the mind is able to think, feel, understand, remember. So here, the senses and the mind, they pray to prana that santata shivam tam kuru, that please keep all this factor auspicious. Shivam means auspicious. If the prana leaves the body, if the prana leaves the senses, then all of them become inauspicious, ashivam. See, for example, a living person is there. We address the person by his name, we respect that person. Even when the person is asleep, is not doing any activity, but still the same respect we continue to offer to that person. Our own father or mother is sleeping, then we offer our respect to them, though they are not expressing through any activities, because the prana is still present. When we are in deep sleep, all the activities of the senses and the mind they stop. They are they are they remain dormant. But the pranas continue to remain active. The pranas don't go to sleep. Therefore, the breathing continues to happen, circulation, digestion, all these activities which are because of the prana in the body, those activities continue to happen. But the senses and the mind have gone to sleep. So, here but when the prana leaves the body, then the body is just a dead body, just a corpse. It is ashiva, it is inauspicious. Then even to touch that dead body is inauspicious. Anything is there placed on the body, that object also becomes inauspicious. So the auspiciousness of our body is because of the prana which is present in this body. So yate tanur vachi pratishtita. So hey prana, you are in the speech, you are in the senses, in the ears, in the eyes, in the mind. Please keep them auspicious. Please keep all these factors auspicious. So they request prana ki ma utkramihi, that please don't leave them and go. Please don't leave this body and go. Please don't leave the senses and go. Please don't leave the mind and go. Because if the prana leaves, then everything will become inauspicious only. So that is the greatness of this prana. And then the last mantra of this section, they pray all these senses and the mind, they pray, they say, Pranasedam vashe sarvam tridive yat pratitishtitam mateva putran rakshasva shrischa pradnyancha videhi na iti. Pranasedam vashe sarvam tridive yat pratishtitam Mateva putran rakshasva shrischa pradnyancha videhi na iti. Pranasya idam vashe sarvam. So everything is under the control of prana. Prana is the one who is controlling not only this body and the senses and the mind in this equipment, but prana is controlling the entire creation. Everything is under the control of prana. So pranasya idam vashe sarvam. Means all the, here Shankaracharya ji writes, कि अस्मिन् लोके प्राणस्य एव वशे सर्वम् इदं यत् किंचित उपभोग जातम्, whatever the objects of upabhog, of enjoyment, which is there in this world, which we are experiencing through our senses, our mind, all these are under the control of prana. And not only here, but even those objects of enjoyment which are there in the heavens, in the world above, Tridive, yat pratishtitam, that which is there in the heavens above and which is experienced by the devatas, devadi upabhoga jatam, tasyapi prana eva ishita rakshita. So that which is those things which are enjoyed by the devatas also. Devatas are so strong, so powerful, and they have their own very subtle, sublime objects of experience. But all these objects are also under the control of prana. Prana not only controls them, he is the one who protects them. So here finally, all these senses and the mind, they pray, ki mateva putran rakshasva, shrishcha pratnyancha videhi na iti. That please protect us. And how? He gives an example, ki mata iva putran, just like a mother protects her children, like the mother who protects her children. And this is the most fascinating, most wonderful expression of Bhagwan which we see. The mother keeps the child in her womb. She gives her own body as a place for the child to stay, and she uses all her energy, her nourishment to nourish that child and protect that child. And when the child is born, the mother continues to nourish the child and to protect the child. Even when some very difficult situation arises, the mother takes a very powerful form and protects the child. She is even ready to give up her own life in order to save the life of her child. So that supreme bond is there between the mother and child. That emotional connection is there. So that same example is given here. Please protect us like your own children, like the mother protecting the children. So mata iva putran rakshasva. So even the father protects and others protect. But the protection of the mother is something very unique, something very different. So Mata iva putran rakshasva and Shrishcha pradnyancha videhi. And even the power which is there in the Kshatriyas, in the Brahmanas, the knowledge which is there is all because of the prana only. So here finally they request that please give us Shri, all prosperity, and Pradnyam, and wisdom. Give us prosperity and wisdom. Shrishcha Pradnyancha Videhi Na Iti. So in this way, iti evam sarvatmataya vagadivihi pranaihi stutya Gamitam Mahima Pranaha Prajnapatihi Atta iti avadhritam. So thus the senses, they did the stuti of prana. So prana is the main power behind everything. Prana is the main bhokta. In fact, the Prajapati himself is expressing as prana. So thus concludes this answer to the second question. The second question was asked as what are the devatas who hold this personality together, and who among them is the supreme? And then finally the Rishi concludes that Prana is the one who holds everything together, and Prana is the supreme. So beautiful stuti of Prana is done, conveying the various facets of this wonderful Prana. Now, after this, we come to the third question, the third section. So the third disciple, the seeker from Kaushal Desh, Ashwalayana, the son of Ashwala, he asked this question. So let us chant mantra number 1, third section. Ata hainam kausalyascha ashvalayanaha papracha Bhagavan kuta esha prano jayate katham ayati asmin sharire atmanam va pravibhajya katham pratisthate kena utkramate katham bhajyam abhidhatte katham adhyatmamiti. Once more. कि अथ हैनम कौसल्याश्चाश्वलायनः पप्रच्छ भगवान् कुत एष प्राणो जायते कथम आयाति अस्मिन् शरीरे आत्मानं वा प्रविभज्य कथम प्रातिष्ठते केन उत्क्रमते कथम बाह्यम् अभिधत्ते कथम अध्यात्ममिति. So the third question, very profound, very interesting. This is asked by Kausalya Ashwalayana. This is Kausalya Ashwalayana, who is Kaushalya was his name, and he was the son of Ashwala. Ashwala is his father's name, therefore he was called Ashwalayana. And Kausalya was his name. Kaushalyascha namataha Ashwalasya apatyam. So atha hainam Kaushalyascha ashwalayanaha papracha. So he asked this question. See, each one of them are asking their question as per their own thinking, as per their own contemplation. What they had thought for a long time, but they could not arrive at any solution, they could not arrive at any answer. So they are asking their individual question. But if you put all these questions and answer together, then we see a beautiful sequence in them also. From the outer question about this entire creation, how all these creatures are born from whom, Then the question comes down to one individual creature and the importance of prana. And now the question is from where the pranas themselves have come. Bhagavan, hey Bhagwan, addressing the teacher as Bhagwan, कि कुत एष प्राणो जायते, from where this prana has come. What is the source of this prana? From where the prana, such a powerful, which is controlling the entire creation, which is like the hub, which is supporting everything, which is present everywhere. This prana, from where has it come? What is its origin? Because in this body also that prana expresses in 5 forms, prana, pan, vyan, udan, saman. So that is also an effect. So it must be having some cause, some origin. So therefore the disciple wants to know from where this prana has come. Bhagavan kuta esha prano jayate. Katham ayati asmin sharire. Then again another question is that how it has come into this particular body. See, we have our body, we have our senses, we have our mind. What brings that prana into this unit? Prana is independent, prana is most powerful, prana has got its own strength, it controls everything. So, what brings such a powerful entity, the prana, into this body? Such a miracle like the one who is so very powerful is present in this body, present in our senses, present in our mind, and making all this unit function. And it makes everything function so silently that we are not even aware of its presence at times. So, katham ayati asmin sharire, that how it comes in this particular body. And atmanam va pravibhajya katham pratisthate, and dividing itself into these 5 as prana, apan, vyan, udan, saman, how does it remain in this body? Why it divides itself into 5, and after dividing itself into 5, how does it remain established in this body? Katham pratisthate. So prana, making itself 5-fold, exists in this body and lives, and the whole function goes on for a long time. But a time comes in everyone's life when the pranas, they leave. They just leave. The prana just vacate this body without, sometimes without even giving any notice. Just like we have some tenant, and if they want to leave the house, they give the notice also that I want to just vacate this place. But this prana doesn't give any notice. Sometimes vacates the house, this body quite early also. A little child can also die. A youth can also die. An elderly person dies. At any time, death can come. And there is no logic which we can understand. Sometimes a sick person, extremely sick, continues to live, and a very healthy and regularly taking care of his body, following all the ritual of keeping the body healthy, eating good food, exercise, healthy lifestyle, and suddenly dies. So there must be some reason for this to happen. See, nothing in this world is accidental, because if you say that something is accidental, then there will not be any law. Everything will be just insane. There are no accidents and there are no coincidences. Everything is determined by some great law. We might not understand that law, but everything is determined by some great law. Everything has got a reason. So here the disciple who has contemplated on life must have done deep thinking about life itself and wondered how this prana comes into this body. See, there are this various Upanishad, and there is one interesting Upanishad called Garbhopanishad, which talks of the journey of the fetus in the mother's womb and what happens on each day, each month, how the fetus grows, and in which month it gets connected to that prana. See, our body, which is made from the material from the mother and the father, live material from the mother and the father comes together to make this another body. Right? So, like a miracle. And it gets connected to the prana. Already, prana is there in the father's body, in the mother's body, in the seed, in the egg. The pranas are there. But then, at a particular stage, the pranas start functioning independently in that particular body. The child also start having its own heartbeat and has its own uh, breathing pranas. They independently start taking care of that body. And when the child is born, it doesn't have to depend on the mother. It continues to live independently, means it breathes independently, eats independently. So it's a great question. How come this prana, what is the reason why the prana has come into this body? And what is the reason why the pranas leave this body? Kena utkramate. And katham bhagyam abhidatte. And this prana alone controls and protects and supports this entire creation. So, how it controls everything that is outside? Bhagyam, the adi bhautik and the adhyatmic world, how is controlled by this prana? And katham adhyatmam, and how does it control this inner world? See, this Vedanta is not just a story or it's a deep science. It's science only. It talks about facts. When science is talking about nature, when science is talking about the world, it is not some sort of religion or some sort of belief. They talk from their deep understanding and from what is derived from their experimentations. According to science, the entire creation which is there in front of us, the entire universe, which is made up of billions and billions of galaxies, and each galaxy has got billions of stars, and each star may have many, many planets. And these planets, they have many moons of their own. And many of these planets must be having life also. We don't know, we have not yet discovered life elsewhere. So, this vast universe, which is seen and understood by science, according to science, only 5% only 5% of the matter and energy of this universe is understood, is known by science. Only 5%. What about the remaining 95%? 95% of matter and energy is not known. About 26% of matter is not known, which science calls it dark matter, means unknown matter. Matter which is not, they know that matter, 26% matter exists, but they don't know how it is, where it is, because it is not known. Dark matter it is called. And 69% of energy is also not known, which they call dark energy. Yeah, you can check it on the internet and all about this. See, like our galaxy, there are so many stars and all of them are like held together. They are held together. The stars don't run away. They are within that galaxy only. Like our Milky Way galaxies, billions of stars are there. Some 400 billion stars or something are there in this galaxy. But all the stars and all are held together. So there is some energy, some force which is holding them together. And there must be some matter more than what is observed, because of which all this is held together. So according to their calculation, they know that there must be some matter which explains why these galaxies are held together. But they have not yet discovered that matter. So they call it dark matter. And another strange thing which is seen is all these galaxies are also they are drifting apart from each other. They are going away from each other. So there is some energy which is pushing them away. Though individually the galaxies are held together because of some dark matter, but all these galaxies are also pushed away from each other. So there must be some energy which is pushing them out away from each other. That energy they have not yet found out. So they just named it as dark energy. So from the known universe, only 5% is known, understood, and 95% is unknown. What holds the universe together, what makes everything function, is unknown to science. But Vedanta talks about that unknown factor which holds the entire creation together and makes everything function. Vedanta has named it as Prana. So, Prana is the most fascinating expression of that supreme Brahma. So, here the question is asked about that Prana. Kyatha, what you call, Kuta Isha Prano Jayate, from where this Prana is born, Katham Ayati Asmin Sharire, how does it come into this particular body? Atmanam va prabhajya katham pratisthate, and dividing itself into fivefold, how does it remain in this body? And kena utkramate, and why does it leave this body? What is the cause? And katham bhagyam abhidatte, and how does it hold everything outside together? And katham adhyatmam iti, and how does it hold everything within? Such are the sublime questions which come when we do contemplation. If we don't contemplate, then when we go for satsang and all, we always tend to ask some foolish questions. Luckily, the Mahatma is listening to the question, he doesn't laugh loudly because we will feel hurt. But in his mind, he must be thinking that, see, even after teaching, this person is still stuck with some gross ideas and questions. But here, the disciples were not ordinary people. They had done deep contemplation on life on their own. And when they got stuck, they had approached this rishi and they asked that question. So with just few instruction and few teaching, they immediately could understand what the rishi is telling them. So when the rishi heard this question, he was quite impressed. He was very impressed by the disciple. And he, before answering the question, he praises that disciple. He says in the next mantra, Tasmai sa hovacha ati prashnan pritchasi brahmishtositi tasmat teham bravimi. Tasmai sa hovacha ati prashnan pritchasi brahmishtositi tasmat teham bravimi. The Rishi says, you have asked a Ati Prashna. What is Ati Prashna? Shankaracharya writes, Ki Tasmai sa hovacha. To that disciple, the Rishi said, Acharya ki prana eva tavad durvijneyatva visham prashnar ahaha. Ki prana itself is so very difficult to comprehend. Prana is not very easy to understand. Prana itself is so very deep and so very subtle. We have to contemplate very deeply to comprehend the beauty of prana. And here the disciple is asking a more difficult question. And what is that? Ki tasyapi janmaditvam pritchasi, and you are asking about the janma of that prana. Prana itself is so very deep, and you are asking from where that prana has come. The source of that prana must be extremely subtle. The source of that prana must be extremely subtle. See, just to give an example, like some author is there. If the author has written some very deep philosophical book, which itself might be very difficult to comprehend, then what to talk of the knowledge of that author must be more deep. Like even scientists, if Albert Einstein has come up with this theory of relativity, general theory, and other theory of relativity, and to understand that itself is so difficult, what to talk about the wisdom which he must be having, or like our Panini, we have Panini grammar. It's so deep and so very well structured. And Panini has written that Ashtadhyayi, which takes years to gather for people to really understand, study, and comprehend. If that writing itself is so sublime, and if you want to know the wisdom of Panini, it will be more difficult to comprehend. Because what he has written, he knows much more than that. The source is more powerful than what is expressed through that source. So here the question from where this prana has come is touching that supreme reality. See, from prana, how everything evolves, how the apara prakriti evolved, how each and everything happens is easier to understand because it is connected with the rules of cause and effect. So this is the cause, this is the effect, this is the cause, this is the effect. Everything can be understood. From the apara prakriti and para prakriti onwards, the entire creation can be understood very logically, systematically. But the question about how this prana has come, it touches that Brahma, that supreme reality. And such questions are called Ati Prashna. And such Ati Prashna are answered only if the student is ready for it. Many times people ask Ati Prashna, but foolish people they ask. Like if everything is created by God, who created God? But foolishly they ask, not ready to even think and listen. But here the disciple was not ordinary. He had done his own research, he had done his own contemplation. And hence he had asked this Ati Prashna. So the teacher tells him that if somebody else had asked me, I wouldn't have replied. But Brahmishtosi iti tasmat teham bravimi. But you are well established in Brahma. Well established in Brahma means you are well established in the Vedas. You have deep faith and Shraddha in the Vedas. Brahma, Vedas are also called Brahma. You are Brahmavit, you are well established, you have that deep faith in the Vedas. You have Shraddha. Therefore, you are fit to understand what I will be telling you. Brahmishtovasi iti atishayena tvam brahmavid ataha tushtoham. Therefore, I am quite satisfied with your question. Tasmat te tubhyam bravimi yat prushtam shruno. Therefore, I will tell you what you have asked. You listen very carefully what I am saying. So the whole world has come from Prajapati. We have seen that Prajapati gave birth to this entire world. And Prajapati himself is expressing as this world. Prajapati himself is expressing as the Prana and the Rai. So here indirectly the question is about from where Prajapati himself has come. The Prana Roop Prajapati, what is his origin? Prajapati himself is in our worldly language called God, who created this world. Then this Ati Prashna is from where God has come. What is the origin of God? From where Prajapati has come. From where Prana has come. So Prajapati is Prana Roop. So from where has he come? What is his origin? So very, very deep question. So Brahmishtoasi iti atishena tvam brahmavid atah tushtoham tasmat te tubhyam bravemi yat pushtam shruno. So after saying this, now the teacher gives the answer. So let us chant the third mantra, very important. Let us chant. Atmanah esha prano jayate yathesha purushe chaya etasmin etad atatam मनोकृतेन आयाति अस्मिन् शरीरे आत्मन एष प्राणो जायते यथैषा पुरुषे छाया एतस्मिन् एतत् आततं मनोकृतेन आयाति अस्मिन् शरीरे आत्मन एष प्राणो जायते. The Rishi then replies, this prana is born from Atma. Atma? What Atma? Shankaracharya writes, Atmanah means Parasmat Purushat, from that supreme Purusha, from that ultimate Purusha, from that Brahma. Parasmat Purushat, Aksharat, who is Akshara, immutable. From that immutable supreme Purusha, Satyad, which is Satya. Satya means which doesn't change, always existing without any change. It's called Satya. Param Purusha, who is the supreme Purusha. Purusha is one who is present everywhere. Akshara, immutable. There is no, it doesn't get depleted. From that Akshara Purusha, from that Param Purusha, from that Satya, this Prana is born. Prano Jayate. Very difficult to understand. So the Rishi gives an example. Katham iti atra drishtantah. He gives a drishtanta. And what is the drishtanta? He says, Yatha loke esha purushe shira panyadi lakshane nimitte chaya naimitiki jayate. Just like this person is there in this world, having the head and the trunk and the legs and all, as a person, then we find a shadow is born. If you are standing somewhere, and if you just look down on the ground, you will find a shadow. And if you move your hand, you will find a shadow also is moving, a shadowy hand. If you move your head, you will find a shadow also is, the head of the shadow also seems to be moving. The shadow takes the form of this person and just happen to be there. And it exists depending on this person. If I am not there, my shadow will not be there. There is nothing like a shadow is there, but there is no person. ऐसा नहीं. The shadow depends on me. I don't depend on the shadow. And nothing is lost when the shadow is born. Nothing happens when the shadow is sustained. Nothing happens when the shadow disappears. Nothing happens to me. The existence of shadow doesn't make my existence less or more. So it's a very beautiful example. So just as from a person a shadow is born, and when an example is given, only that much portion of that example one should contemplate upon. Don't try to, generally a shadow is there if there is some light and source is there and all. So don't ask from where the light has come. Here the relationship of that person with the shadow itself has to be understood. So shadow has come from me, it is sustained in me, and again merges back into me. Sometimes you find that a person is standing somewhere else and we only see the shadow of that person. We don't see that person. We only see the shadow. But seeing the shadow, we know that that person must be there. Person must be present. Person is not visible, but we only see the shadow. From the shadow, we know the presence of that person. Similarly, that Supreme Brahma is not seen, but this world, like a shadow, like a reflection, which is there because of the presence of that Brahma, is seen, is comprehended. And what is the nature of this shadow? Shankaracharya writes. He says, Tadvat etasmin brahmani etat pranakyam chaya sthaniyam. So in that Supreme Brahma only, this prana is like a chaya, is like a shadow, is present. And what is the nature of this prana? Andrutam, andruta rupam. Andruta. This is a very highly technical term, which is generally, if we don't understand Shankaracharya, is translated wrongly. Andrutam means changing. That which changes every moment is called andrutam. And Shankaracharya defined this term Anrutam in Taittiriya Upanishad. He is defined in Bhagavad Gita also. Anrutam or Asatyam, which is wrongly translated as Mithya. It is not Mithya. Here also, in this book which I am having, the Hindi translation of this Anrutam is given as Mithya, which is the wrong translation. Anrutam means changing. Brahma itself doesn't change, but its shadow is so very different, strange. Its nature is constantly changing. So, Anruta Rupam Tattvam Satte Purusha Atatam, in that Supreme Purusha, it is present. More about this we will see in our class on Wednesday. Till then, you take care, be happy, say peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, and listen to the pravachan again and contemplate. Think, contemplate on the guidance given by the Shastra. Don't contemplate wildly. Contemplate with the guidance of the Shastra. Then we will be able to comprehend what is being conveyed. Okay? So see you on Wednesday. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Bali Siyavar Ramchandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.